And war and trade is expected to be at the top of the agenda for world leaders as the G7 summit begins in Canada. The US president has multiple meetings lined up, starting with Canada's Prime Minister. Rebecca Caster has the details.
President Trump is talking trade and the Middle East as the G7 summit kicks off in Canada. Security is tight in the small town of Kananaskis, Alberta, where leaders from some of the world's biggest economies are gathering. This is President Trump's first international summit since taking office for the second time, and it's a major test of his America First policies on the world stage. Tariff tensions are expected to be the main focus of his first meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney.
I have a tariff concept, and Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it.
But some G7 leaders are already pushing back on Trump's trade policy.
We see tariffs as acts of economic self-harm by the country imposing the tariffs.
Tariffs and the war in Ukraine were expected to be the big topics this week. They'll still be discussed in depth, but the fighting between Iran and Israel is now a major focus, with most European leaders pushing hard for a ceasefire as soon as possible.
There must be de-escalation of this conflict in the interests of the region and of course, the world.
A diplomatic solution remains the best way in the long run to address concerns about Iran's nuclear program.
But Israeli officials say they'll keep attacking until the nuclear threat is removed from Iran. And so far, they have President Trump's support. And with two major wars and a tariff fight on their hands, some world leaders have said their goal for this summit is to simply minimize friction with the U.S.